In our women's discussion series, we are on question number 10. What is question number 10? Examine the role of gig economy in the process of empowerment of women in India. ठीक है? This question is on women empowerment and how they can be empowered through gig economy. ठीक है? Now again, what is broad line of this question? You should provide what is gig economy, and after providing with some facts and data, if you have gig economy or in women पर आपको कोई डाटा है, उसके बाद आप आ जाना है how. That is the majority of the answer of your question. Here you can provide the points how we can empower the women, and ultimately providing 1 2 3 line on concluding remark. So that is the broad outline. Again, this question is of 150 words and 10 marker question. तो ये क्वेश्चन क्यों आया है कि गिग इकोनॉमी का जो कंसेप्ट है, गिग इकोनॉमी कंसेप्ट 2021 में पेंडेमिक के टाइम ऑलमोस्ट 10 to 15 टाइम्स ये हिंदू के एडिटोरियल में था और इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में गिग इकोनॉमी का रोल था. तो दैट्स वाई दिस क्वेश्चन इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट एंड देयर हाउ दे कैन फोकस ऑन वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट. तो गिग इकोनॉमी आपको बतानी क्या होती है और गिग वर्कर्स क्या होते हैं. ये वर्कर्स होते हैं जिनको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बेसिस पे टेम्परेरी जॉब दी जाती है. दे आर नॉट परमानेंट. प्लीज़ बी रिमेंबर, दे आर नॉट परमानेंट and their focus, gig workers, their focus is not on long term employment but they are short term employment. Through gig economy, there was an article on newspaper how that this world economic forum का एक आर्टिकल था gig economy पे, where they focused on how they can increase the workforce participation rate through income generate करके, इनकम जनरेशन पे वर्कफोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेशियो कैसे इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं इवन वुमेन्स का, बिकॉज दिस क्वेश्चन इज ऑन वुमेन्स. यस, इन इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट how we can negate the 21 census is that 48.9 almost percentage of population is women. So how we can negate the 50%, almost 50% of the population and their role on economy. So if we want to promote real development, we should focus and promote the women empowerment through their development. So on these aspects you can write down your introduction. ठीक है, and after that you come directly to the question how the gig economy advantages to women's. Because of gig workers, there is no doubt that female labor force participation rate would going to increase, because that is very low in India. I think, I'm not sure, but it is almost 20%. So that is going to increase, and we are in pandemic time, so that is very important point. After that, they provide a flexibility of job, because they are not permanent, so there is a flexibility of they can switch from one company to another company, so that is also advantages to women's, and simultaneously they can grow their skill in different companies. So and here is more opportunity to develop. After that, yes, there is a freedom of work, they are independent, more of independent, because they can go anywhere else. Then risk of job losing job is very low, because the availability of more number of gig work in any company. So here that is also important. After that, they are financially independent. You can talk on, write down here. After that, now one important point is that earlier there were some job which is you can say gender bias or male concentrated jobs. Now women are entering into these sectors because of gig economy, availability of opportunities. Now you can even write down that the concept of work from home, how it is good for women, because ultimately their safety issue, where we are talking, they are safely, they can do their work from home, even they can handle family, because so their this ट्रेवल अलावेंसेस भी उनको अलावेंसेस तो कर मिलते नहीं है, लेकिन उनके अपने एक्सपेंसेस जो रहते हैं, ट्रैवलिंग का इशू जो है वो नहीं होगा, सेफ्टी इशू जो था, इवन इन नाइट टाइम, नाइट वर्क दे कैन डू फ्रॉम होम. सो दीज आर द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ गिग इकोनॉमी और गिग वर्कर्स. After write down, you can write down some aspects on there is certainly disadvantages, because if you have a word, you have a point or time, you can write down these aspects. Because now what happened in gig economy, that stability is not there, absence of stability, because in gig economy they are more oriented to market oriented. That market oriented, so their focus is on demand supply. In this regard, even there's social benefits, social security allowances are not there in gig economy or gig workers, like that insurance, PF funds, and even maternity benefits, those who are there in permanent job. So these are the facilities which is not there in gig economy. After that, skilled women population is absent, because here this school gross enrollment ratio is very low. After that, there is a pay difference. How this is that gig economy workers, they are not permanent, so there is difference between that and who are permanent workers or permanent job versus these gig workers. So there is huge difference, pay difference. After that, their growth is stagnant, growth in this company where they are doing their work or job, because of organizational hierarchy. So they stuck in lower level of development. Here only their promotion is not there. So after highlighting these issues, providing a concluding remark that yes, gig economy can be a step towards this which can provide a temporary mismatch in economy, but for a long time we should focus on this permanent stability, because short time they can increase that where World Economic Forum is focusing that female labor force participation rate, but ultimately the issue of stability would come over the period of time. So where we have to focus, we should develop we should rescaling, we focus on rescaling development of infrastructure, and infrastructure networking should be standard so they can be permanent over a period of time. So this is the broad outline of this question. So in this type of question, these are the general questions. How can you differentiate from other? Again, if you have a data, if you have an example, if you have a case study. But the issue is that in 150 words you cannot provide too much. So how much you can diversify your points, that is ultimately help you to, or half marks, even half mark is sufficient to differentiate other students. So please focus on these aspects. So thank you. I will continue in my next video in question number 11. So please subscribe, but don't forget I will be continue. Thank you. Have a nice day.